I feel, looking back, I feel like I always saw the world in a unique way. I was called a alchemist. Anything I touch turns to gold. I was called that multiple times.
You said this is where your network is. You tapped into your network, and then you produced this first magazine.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So that took... now, she did that, I'm sure, for probably herself. She wanted to be photographed, or she wanted her friends to be photographed. And my first thought is, well, how am I going to monetize off of that? You know what I'm saying?
Truth in the air, let it speak.
Listen.
Yeah, man.
Creative Roots Podcast.
Oh, yes.
Episode 2, part 2. Episode 1, part 2.
Part 2.
Part 2.
Because they was talking the whole time last time.
Listen, Shamar wanted to interview. Listen, don't ask me no questions. Y'all, if you don't know, I'm a talker.
Oh, yes. But I think that was a good feel for them. That was a good way for them to get a feel of what this is going to be. So,
yeah.
And what better way to do it than get you to do it? Y'all don't know. I was over here landing that plane, though, at the end. I was like, come on, Tay.
Yeah.
Nah, it was good stuff, though.
Yeah. So how you doing today, man? I'm doing good.
Oh.
Yes, I did.
Well, I'm good. I'm good today.
Good.
Yeah.
Outside of your back pain.
Yeah. We're just gonna work through that.
Yeah, it's been a while, so I'm catching that hunger headache. But we'll get through that too. Listen, Creative Roots Podcast. If I haven't said it already, this is a place where seeds sown become visions grown. I had to remember because I haven't had to say that in a minute. I've been saying it to myself.
Yeah. You're going to have to put that back in the first one because you didn't say it in the first one. Say that and drop it one more time for me.
Where seeds sown become visions grown.
Where seeds sown become visions grown. I like that.
Again, the poetic storyteller over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope I can hear you because your mic ain't sitting in your face.
I was trying to show my logo. I was trying to silently plug the people. You know what I'm saying? Let me drop this thing a little bit. There we go. Yeah. They got to see that. Y'all gonna have to see me.
So listen, episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
We talked. It was all about what this is.
Yes.
The format, and it was about me.
Yep.
Which I was not expecting it to be. Because I thought we were going to come in a little 5-10 minute. Hey, this is what it is, and this is who we are. Bye. No, that ain't what happened. So, people got a brief history on me, how I got into the whole Creative Roots thing or being a creative. So, we're going to spend this episode talking about Mr. Shamar over here. Listen. Yeah. This man.
Yo.
Entrepreneur extraordinaire, multi-million-dollar brain, photographer, your photographer's favorite photographer.
You know it.
The man behind a lot of the things that y'all see me involved in. The man behind so many different things concerning the media production aspect within Charlotte metro area is what they call it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Been here my whole life. Never knew that's what it is. Listen, Charlotte.
Because we ain't call it that, right? We call it Charlotte.
We call it Charlotte because we live here.
Yeah.
So listen, is there anything that I'm missing?
Man, listen, I wasn't even expecting that. I was like, dang, go ahead. Yeah, I do that. Yeah, I do that.
I do that.
I do.
Listen. So, again, we spent that time talking about me.
Yeah.
And certain things came back to mind because a lot of that stuff I know, but it's like buried. Mm-hmm. So, these seeds, man, you gotta, razzle dazzle them. You gotta spread them, So at what point did you get into this creative space? Because I'm pretty sure it was more than photography at the beginning, but maybe it wasn't.
For me, I mean, I've always tapped in creativity, tapped into my creativity, if you will, from a child. I feel, looking back, I feel like I always saw the world in a unique way. Art teachers, they used to love me in elementary school because I don't care what they give me. If it's macaroni and we put it on the plate and we doing all that stuff, I'm going to put that macaroni on that plate in a way that nobody else has.
That's gonna be the best macaroni
Listen.
you ain't eating.
Right. I'm going to take I remember kindergarten. So it was around the holidays. It was coming up to Thanksgiving. And the project was we took a pine cone and then we took our hand. We had to trace our hand, right? And then we had to cut our hand out. We colored it, put different little colors on the fingers and all that stuff. And when you cut that hand out, you stuffed it into the pine cone and that created the turkey. You know what I'm saying? I was all proud of my turkey and everything like that. And I took it home. I always took my stuff home to my mama and I showed her, she put it on the refrigerator, all that stuff. That next day, Thanksgiving Day, they brought a turkey to the table. I lost it. I'm not eating no turkey. I'm not eating that turkey because what I created, you know what I'm saying, is now on my table. So that kind of messed me up. And I don't eat turkey. Anyway. That ain't it. But that kind of literally started like my creative journey and everything like that. We had a teacher that did pottery and stuff. Of course, I made the ashtrays. I made my hand. I guess when you're very young, you use your hands a lot for the artwork and stuff. Because I remember putting my hand in clay, and we had to put, what is that oven called, a keel or something like that, and it heated it up, and we had to glaze it and all that stuff, and gave that to my mom. She actually still has that thing to this day. But no matter what, art teachers loved me. I just loved doing that stuff because when you're in class, my favorite subject in school was math.
Yeah.
Because it just makes sense to me, I guess the second one was history, because history just sounded like an old soap opera. You know what I'm saying? They just be gossiping, telling about all the drama that happened through the years. That's it. But science and all that stuff, it wasn't my thing. I did it because I had to. But when we got to art class, and art was always after like some of that not so fun stuff, if you will. So I was able to use my creativity and I just tapped into it. So that's kind of what started me out on the journey.
Art class.
Yeah.
High five and everything that you
sir.
can get.
Yeah.
Macaroni and the turkey. Listen, I'm going to eat that turkey. So you on your own with that one. So I know we talked a little bit, but for the people, photography.
Yes.
How did you transition from elementary school and this hands-on art to holding a camera?
Yeah. So it was a while for me because again, I've continued to excel in art class and everything, but it wasn't until I got to high school to where one of the electives was photography. And that was back in film days. So you had the film, you had to your negatives and everything like that. You go into the dark room, you do all of that good stuff. So I started enjoying it. I would shoot with the cameras that they had. They provided the cameras. We would go into the dark room, do our thing there. But it wasn't until we had an assignment called the pinhole camera assignment. So you go home, you were to grab an empty soap box. For those that don't know, laundry detergent used to come in these boxes, and it was a powder form. It was in powder form. It have a scoop. You scoop that powder out of there. You put it in the washing machine. But so I had got one of those.
Mess, but
yes,
go ahead. Jesus, man.
It would cake up, yeah. But I got one of those boxes. It was empty. Took it to school. You take a little pin and you poke a little small hole in it. And I'm like, now how in the world is this gonna make a picture? I don't know. You said it's gonna make a picture, then it's gonna make a picture. So you poke a hole in it, and then you take one of your photography paper, the paper that you would. I don't even remember the names no more. It's tripping me. So yes, when you develop the prints, so that print paper. So you put one of those sheets in there. It was probably about 8 by 11. I put it in there in landscape because the laundry box is landscape, So I took that box outside. We were in a parking lot. I saw this Honda CRV. I put it right in front of that CRV, and it sat there for 30 minutes. Just sat there. I don't know what it's doing, but it's sitting there.
doing
You know,
something.
it's doing something. She said it's doing something. I don't believe it. But she said it's doing something. So I'm sitting over here running off at the mouth with everybody else because they box is sitting there too. And then after that 30 minutes, she's like, all right, grab your box. Don't open it. Do not open your box. She was threatening us. Do not open this box. It's like, okay, whatever. But now I know that would have overexposed it. You know, if it got sunlight on it, it would have ruined everything. So the box stayed closed. We got into the dark room. You don't open it until you get in the dark room. Got in the dark room, put that thing in that solution. That Honda CRV was on that paper. I fell in love with photography right then and there. Like, this is it.
This is it for me.
Because again, remember, I said as a child, very early on, I was like, I felt like I saw the world differently.
Mm-hmm.
And now for me to be able to put on paper what I just saw, say less. Yo.
I'm just tripping off the Honda CRV part. Do they even still make those?
They don't make them no more.
Google it.
Right.
Just Google it. Honda CRV. So the Honda, the darkroom. Oh man.
Honda, the dark room.
Can you
Yeah.
speak on the darkroom? Because I don't think people know about dark rooms and what their purpose is, because I know a lot of people nowadays don't really shoot on film because I think it's more expensive now than it used to be.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it is. One, because it's like, I hate to say it, but it seems like it's becoming a dying art, but there are enthusiasts and stuff that keeps it, still relevant and around, which I appreciate. And I love that because that's where we've come from,
Yeah.
The dark room. So to speak on a dark room, I want people out there to know you would never have Adobe Lightroom if there was never a dark room. Lightroom mimics the dark room. So the
Boom.
dark room, there it is. Boom.
Boom. You're welcome.
You're welcome. So the dark room is where you develop your film. You produce your negative. So the film is in the camera and everything. You shoot. I don't know if y'all remember. God, what was that? Kodak, they had it with those disposable cameras where you can open it up, put your film in there, close it up, close that thing back up, but you cannot open it. You gotta leave it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, but that's because you don't want that light on there. That's what photography is. Shooting with light. And if you let too much of that sunlight in there, it's going to damage it. But you go into the dark room, now you can control the light. And you have it's a red light in there. That's your infrared light, if you will. That's what you can see. That's how you see. But making sure you control it and let no outside direct light onto it. And you go through your process of developing your film into negatives. Once you got that negative, now you can look at it. So the same way y'all are in Lightroom and all your images are across the bottom of that screen, that's what it was with your negatives. You can literally use a magnifying glass and you can view each one of these negatives and you can choose which one you want to develop into a print. And then that's when we print it. And there's all these different solutions. You take it from one, put it in the other, then you hang it up on a clothing rack. Just like some of y'all that didn't have a dryer when y'all had to hang y'all clothes outside. That's what we did with our photos in the darkroom. I ain't gonna hold you. I hung mine outside too sometimes because it gives you that summer freshness on your clothes. But yeah. Did I answer your question?
I thought you were about to say, hold on, wait, I thought you couldn't hang it outside the dark room.
No, right. No, I'm talking about the clothes.
Talking about your clothes. Yeah, we had to do that too. I didn't care for it.
Yeah.
I didn't care for it. I'm just going to throw it on a hanger, hang it over the shower. I'm not taking it outside. So I know to be in the space where...
I'm sorry. Can I?
Go ahead.
So back to the point of the dark room. The red light. I don't know if you all are aware. So my brand, for those that don't know, is Alan Lux Studios. And here's the logo right here. Check me out. But you will see it with the red dot. You see me with my red microphone. That is paying homage to the dark room and the red light. So I just wanted people to know that. That's where that red comes from.
So that's new to me. I thought he just really liked the color red.
No. So think about it. The logo, the brand colors are black, white, and a hint of red or a pop of red, if you will.
Yeah.
And that is paying homage to black and white photography, and then the red is the light from the dark room.
So there's a deeper meaning to the logo.
Absolutely.
And the
It's
colors
not because I like red.
and the design. And I was like, well, I mean, black and white is standard, and I guess, he like red, bruh, so that's new to me.
There you are.
Now that I know that, I can take that alone because like the logo for Creative Roots is just, I thought it looked good. Listen, the cream color is how do you pronounce this word? Symbolizing.
Mm-hmm. Symbolic.
It's very symbolic to a seed.
Yeah.
Because most seeds are that sandy brown. Even in or outside of the shell, you have to get to the seed, and most seeds are brown, and then the black is like symbolizing the soil. Yes. Because I don't see any.
That's that black gold. If your soil is black, you cooking with grease, baby. Yeah.
Cooking with grease. We're not even gonna get on that. Boy, I tell you. So this dark room, I've never been in a dark room.
Okay.
So that's why I asked, what was that experience? Because I want to go and have that experience. Because I've seen it on movies. I've seen it on TV, and it's like, yo, I want to be in that space. But high school, I don't know if we had that class, number one. And number two, the way that I was running through high school, I probably would have never known.
Yeah.
I may have been there, I may not have been.
Right.
So after this dark room experience, what was the next step or the next thing that went into you saying, okay, you know what? I got to get my own camera.
Years later.
Years.
Yeah, that was just a moment in time, that I enjoyed in high school. Being from Charlotte, being number 2 in the financial industry, went to college after I graduated high school. I knew that I was going into banking.
When he says number 2 in the banking industry, he's talking about Charlotte.
Yes.
Because I don't know if people know that. So I wanted to throw that in.
New York is number 1 with Wall Street, and Charlotte is number 2. So that we have a lot of New Yorkers down here too.
I knew we were right. I knew we were in the top 5. I know we were number 2.
Been number 2 since, I can remember. Yep. So that's what I just knew. Hey, that was back in the day of you get you a good job and you keep it. That's what you do. And I knew that was going to pay because we had, I'm dating myself. We've been dating ourselves this whole episode, but I'm going to keep on doing it.
I'm not saying nothing.
We had First Union. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
We had, they were big. You had Wachovia right across the street. Those were the competitors. Both of them were headquartered here in Charlotte, First Union, of course, we know that story. They merged with Wachovia, and now they're Wells Fargo and everything like that. But Bank of America, Nations Bank was here in Charlotte too. So it was First Union, Wachovia, Nations Bank, and Nations Bank bought Bank of America. The headquarters is here in Charlotte now, but back then when they did that deal, they had the headquarters. Bank of America was headquartered in California.
Okay.
And so, oh man, look at that. I'm sorry. Y'all, all right, I'm back. Okay. So yeah, it was it was headquartered out there in California, but when Nations Bank bought them, they brought it here and everything like that. But again, so all this just to say that I knew that I was going into banking. So I studied economics and everything. So maybe, if you will, my creativity was suppressed. I would still do things creatively, but I never consider it, hey, I could do this as a profession or a business. I never thought about that until years later, like climbing that corporate ladder and everything and doing my thing there, and then looking like, man, something got to give because I don't like this. It was fun at first, being able to climb and start making good money and everything, being able to take care of myself and all this stuff. And I'm just out here looking like I'm not satisfied. So what happened, I was in Dallas and I just had a camera. I don't even know what camera I had, where
Dallas,
I got it.
Texas, or Dallas, North Carolina?
I'm sorry.
I have to ask.
Texas. I mean, I don't even think of Dallas, North Carolina. And it's not too far from here, by the way.
It's
I think
not.
it's about
That's
an
why
hour.
Yeah, that's why I asked that
I would
question.
not leave Charlotte to go to Dallas, North Carolina. I don't know. I feel you. But it was Dallas, Texas. I was working with Bank of America and climbing that ladder, like I said, but on the weekends, and I didn't know people in Dallas. So, and I didn't know the city. So I was like, how do I learn the city? What I would do is on the weekend, when I was off, I would jump on my motorcycle and just ride out, learn the city. But I had my camera with me. So, and Dallas had a lot of uh, um, graffiti. They had a lot of murals. That's the word I was looking for. A lot of murals out there. They had a whole district called Deep Ellum that was the creative district. And so I would just put my bike, stage my bike on these different murals, and I would just take pictures of it. And I was having fun. Now I'm tapping back into it. It's reminding me of my photography class in high school and stuff like that. I'm just tapping into it. And I did that for like 2 years until I said, I don't want to do this bank thing no more. I think I want to run a photography business. And I think that part of that is because my mom, she was an empty nester. I'm the youngest. And so when I went off to college and then went off, started working, she picked up hobbies and she started learning photography and stuff like that. And what I didn't like was, I liked the fact that she was enjoying herself and doing her thing, but then family and friends, can you come take these pictures? Can you do this? And she was filmed still at that time. And it was more expensive because she has to get it developed, get it printed and stuff like that. It's not digital. It's not like, she just upload it and they download it. No, she had to go get that stuff printed. Excuse me. She had to go get that stuff printed and then they wouldn't pay her. Like,
No.
yeah. So I said, you know what? I love this photography thing, and I'm gonna go help my mom run the business because they ain't gonna be taking advantage of my mama doing all this work.
No, because I know just from being in the digital space and taking things off the SD card and uploading it, even that can be a process. So for it to be on film and it being an expensive hobby for real. Okay, side note question. When has photography and videography ever not been expensive?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So I'm going to digress from that. I might get on that topic another day. But, so you came home.
Yes.
Helped mom. Mom has the business.
Well, no, she didn't run a business. No. So let me say that she was working and she was doing it as a hobby. But my thing is, as she's shooting these people and stuff, at least and we're talking about birthday parties, graduations, things like that.
So they're taking advantage of her.
That's how I saw it. That's how I saw it.
I mean, that's how I see it.
And I ain't like that.
I don't like that either.
Oh.
What was that? Belly.
And then she actually that you said Belly?
Belly, the movie?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But go ahead.
But she actually slowed down by the time that I decided to come back home and start a business. She had started slowing down because it's like she's working hard, helping people out, and they not even throwing nothing her way. And I'm like, that's an expensive hobby in and of itself. And then now you're doing it for them. This is not like you said, hey, I'm going to the zoo to take pictures. These people literally are asking you to give them pictures from their memorable moments, and they're not giving you any money from it.
Right.
But like I said, she stopped doing it. So I don't want to I'm not saying that I came back here to help her with the business. No, it was a hobby and she stopped doing it. But I said I was going to pick it up. I was going to learn it. And the reason why I decided to move back here was because if I start a business, it'd be easier starting it in Charlotte because that's my personal network. I just told y'all I ain't know people in Dallas. I'm like, my personal network is in Charlotte. Those would be my first clients, and they would definitely push and give the word of mouth out there. So did that, came back here, studied, took classes for a year, interned for like 7 months. While I was interning, I launched the business.
Cool. That's a lot.
Yeah.
You said a lot of words.
Yeah, I did.
Sound like you rushed.
Sounded like Tay.
Sound like me. A lot. So listen. You said the name of the company is Alan Lux Studios.
Oh, sorry, my back. I'm getting my back together, guys. Hold on. Yes, it's Alan Lux Studios.
Can you, I guess, explain what that means?
I
or
sure
what
will.
that is?
Yeah. So, listen. And I'm gonna have to pull a Tay. Because I be wanting Tay just to answer the question, but he got to give y'all a backstory before he answered the question. So now I got to give you backstory before I answer the question.
I'm asking for the backstory. I want to listen because I'm a storyteller.
Right.
I want to hear the story. So,
All right. So in the first episode, part 1, you identified yourself as a storyteller.
Yeah.
And I know you're gonna have this question. I'm probably kind of ruining where you're going with this, but part of the thing of people pouring into me or nurturing me, I was called a alchemist. Anything I touch turns to gold. I was called that multiple times.
Yeah, 'cause I was about to say, explain that for people that.
Yeah. So those that don't know what alchemist, the saying is whatever you touch turns to gold. And gold is still supposed to be a very valuable thing, so you're just good at a lot of things. Whatever you put your mind to and you apply pressure, then, something good is going to come from it.
And pressure make diamonds.
And pressure makes diamonds. So just like I said in the art classes and stuff, I ain't care what the assignment was. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to do it. I'm having fun doing it. And I have fun seeing the best in other people, being able to encourage them and push them along their way to help make them successful. That's why I've been so successful at the bank. I was building teams. My manager at the bank said, Shamar, you just know how to build teams. You know how to put people together and get them to a common goal.
Yeah.
And so that's just been my thing. So same thing with you being a storyteller. It doesn't matter the medium. You're still telling a story. So to me, it doesn't matter the medium. My focus is to make sure that I build solid teams and help them reach their full potential individually, but collectively as a group to reach a goal.
Yeah.
So with that said, and I said, okay, I'm going to launch a photography business. It was never going to be Shamar Allen Photography. My last name is Allen. It was never going to be Shamar Allen Photography because I never saw it as me just shooting pictures. I don't take pictures. You take pictures? No, I don't take pictures. Hey, you take pictures. No, not take pictures. You do pictures.
Yeah, that's what they say. You do pictures?
You do pictures? No, I don't do pictures.
Mm-mm.
So I knew it wasn't just going to be Shamar Allen Photography. I always saw it as I will have a team of people, pushing media forward, So I said, okay, well, I would prefer to name it, have its own identity, because my thought is that people will feel more comfortable buying into a company that has its own identity versus me asking them to buy into Shamar Allen Photography and treat Shamar Allen Photography like it's their own. So I said, okay, well, what kind of name I'm gonna come up with? Allen is my last name, but it's spelled Allen. So I said, okay, I'm gonna use Allen, and then I was looking for a word for light because we that's what we work with is light. And I'm like, okay, luminance. Lux means luminance. Illuminate, all of that stuff. And I'm like, ooh, I like Lux. I like Lux because I didn't want light. I didn't want illuminate. I'm like, Lux, that's what it means as far as to me, because I think the Italian root or whatever is illuminate. But I'm like, people will hear Lux and they would think luxury and stuff like that. So I'm gonna just play off of that word. This is a Lux. And then I'm like, okay, Alan Lux, it sounds like a name, especially if you spell Alan, Alan. And I just put those two together, Alan Lux. And pretty much what that means is you shot by Alan. The light, Alan, that's me. I'm using the light and shooting it on you. So that's kind of how I came up with it. And then I did do Alan Lux Photography at first, but it was my graphic designer. Shout out to Gannon. What up, Gannon? He's the one that created this logo. And he said, because I was asking him, put an aperture on there. Dude, it was very camera photography, digital photography camera specific. Yeah. He said, Shamar, you're saying that you're going to branch out into other things. Yeah, you could pay me now for that photography specific, but then a couple of years from now, you're going to have to pay me to broaden it. Now you're moving into video. Now you're moving into, hold on. I'm not going to name it Alan Lux Photography. It'll be Alan Lux Studios. And somebody said, you called the studios and you ain't even had no studio.
Listen.
We ain't have a lot of them things at that time. We ain't had nothing.
We ain't even had no Luxuses. Okay, sunlight. Okay, but we're gonna get this done because we listen.
Yeah.
When you're aiming for something, like I said in the last episode, keep that end goal in mind. You want to create things up front that open the door for things to come later. You don't want to cut anything off. You don't want to block anything off, and you don't want to have to go through rebranding because now with social media, if you say it's Alan Lux Photography, well, you don't just do photography anymore.
Right.
Well, the company
Right.
doesn't
Absolutely.
just do photos.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, you have to rebrand. Now you got to change it.
Mm-hmm.
Now people are still looking for Alan Lux Photography when it's
Absolutely.
no longer there.
Yep.
And then when you think from the back office mindset of money being pushed out for this domain,
Mm-hmm.
now you got to change your website.
Absolutely.
Now you got to change your email.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to, am I still going to be, I'm not, no. You know, so it makes sense to get it up front. Shout out to Gannon because, you know, he wouldn't think about that. I'm glad you was. You know what I'm saying?
It's my guy. You know, it's funny because Gannon and I have a very great relationship to this day. I consider him like my art mentor because he's not only graphic designer, actually he truly is an artist. So he does drawings, he does paintings and stuff. That's his first. And graphic design, you know, he learned, of course, while he was in school. But I've known Gannon now, 10 years because he designed my logo 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And we talk all the time on a regular, ain't never met in person.
Oh, one of them.
Yeah.
Like pen pals in elementary school.
Yeah.
Except it's digital. You ain't
Yeah,
got to wait 3
absolutely.
weeks for a letter.
Mm-mm.
Dang. Side note, I wonder what happened to my pen pal. I don't know what happened. I don't know.
That letter got lost in the mail, man.
It got lost somewhere. Definitely did. But yeah, man.
Mhm.
Lux. And then the studios, to me, hints to there's gonna at some point be multiple locations.
Absolutely. It was always designed that way. It was always designed. It was studios plural to ensure that I left room for what was to come.
For growth.
Absolutely.
The sprouting of the seeds.
Mhm.
Speaking of seeds, your boy is hungry, but we're not gonna go there.
Oh my God. Where's
Waiting
John
on
when
something
you
to
need
grow
it?
and manifest here. So, and I know
Mhm.
that you have a huge support system.
Mhm.
With that support system, we know there have been ups and downs within the support system.
Yes.
The tilling. And the toiling, you know.
No, it's just tilling.
It's been a lot.
Yeah.
It's been a lot.
Mhm.
The support system, I know is huge,
Mhm.
but let's speak to that for a second. How, when you came back, you said this is where your network was.
Yes.
How did things start taking off? Because I know you've done magazines. I know
Mhm.
you've done things to get these magazines promoted, produced, off the ground, things like that. What does the process before that happens look like? And then let's talk about that process. So before that process leading to the first magazine.
What led to the first one? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, like how was the support getting to that point? So you come back and you said this is where your network is. You tap into your network and then you produce this first magazine.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So that took 18 months or so, just shy of 2 years to get to that, moving back and get into the first publication. But as far as the support, I agree. It's huge in the sense of pouring into me, but the numbers, they're not that big. Very, 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 very close knit, very tight, very small circle, if you will. But the amount that they pour into me is huge. I just want to make that distinction. So, I was in class. So I decided, first thing when it came to support, I told my mom, listen, I want to move back to Charlotte because I want to start a photography business. She didn't laugh. She didn't say, boy, is you crazy? You got that good job. That was my chair that made that noise. You good?
Yeah, I just heard a noise. I don't know where it came from that time.
So she didn't say, boy, are you crazy? You got that good job. You don't need to start. None of that. She was like, oh, okay, cool. And I said, but listen, here's the game plan. I want to do it. I want to move back to Charlotte and do it. I said, I would like to live with you. That way that I can start saving up to be able to put into the business. I'm going to take classes. I already knew who I was taking classes through. I already had everything laid out because that's what I do. I'm a planner, Alchemist, you know what I'm saying? So I knew how it was going to go. I just needed her to buy into letting me live with her. I already said, hey, here's what I'm willing to pay to, contribute to the house, XYZ. That part we can negotiate because I can't tell you how much I could pay you to stay in your house. You know what I'm saying?
Right. We can discuss.
Yeah, absolutely. But I had the plan in place, and then, we did negotiate a little bit. We were only off about $200. You know what I'm saying? I was like, only off $200. And I'm like, okay, I get an extra $200 because it's a save in the long run. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, that was the first level of support. And now I'm in classes and everything like that. And, she bought my first camera, which was a T3i.
Mine too.
Yep. She bought that for as a Christmas gift to show, because I had moved back here in October of 2015. And I took my first class in December. So she gave me an early Christmas gift, gave me the T3i so that I can go to class. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's pouring into me even more. Like, hey, you say this is what you want to do? I'm gonna help you. So just being able to do it, and then having people, my friends and stuff like that, as I'm learning, they were allowing me to put the camera in front of them because you got to shoot. You got to shoot.
You got to shoot something.
You can't hold that T3i, watch them YouTube videos like somebody did. You know
like
what I'm
I
saying?
did. Sleep. Wake it up trying to figure out why it's over here.
But yeah, having friends that allow you to, photograph them on a regular basis.
Yeah.
It probably got older to them, and that's all I talked about. That's all I talked about that entire time. And I know that he got sick of it, but everybody listening,
So I'm not the only one that nerds out. Let me tell you about the aperture. Okay.
No, I don't nerd out on the equipment, but it is the settings and this and so yeah. But it was my mom that said, you need to do, she had just did the big chop. That's when a lot of women going natural and stuff. She did the big chop. A couple of her coworkers did it and stuff like that. She was like, you need to do a project, capturing women that are going back natural. And I'm like, okay. Now she did that, I'm sure for probably herself. She wanted to be photographed, or she wanted her friends to be photographed. And my first thought is, well, how am I going to monetize off of that? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, boom. I can get a group of women. They model for me and everything. I put it into, I said an art gallery. And I said, I'm a print these big prints because I'm going back to my high school, darkroom and stuff. I'm going to print these big prints. I'm going to have a party. They're going to buy up everything. And then as I'm going through the process, it was fun too, because I had all the girls get there. I had got a makeup artist. I asked the makeup artist, hey, how can I get the ladies to be consistent in their makeup and their look, especially when some of them don't even have makeup? He was like, I'll come out there. He came out there, and him and his assistant, and they did all the ladies' makeup. And I don't remember how many ladies it was at now. That was so long ago. I'm going to say it was like 9 to 11. But they did all that makeup and everything. We did the shoot in one day. I didn't let them see any of them. That was the key. I would not let them ladies see any of the pictures because I need them to be motivated to come to this party, because they're going to want to see themselves. And they're going to tell other people, oh, I was a model. I was in this project. I got a magazine, this and that. So that is what it was. So huge support, my friends and stuff. I had long nights because to be able to produce this whole thing, I had a sounding board. I had to talk to my mom about it and stuff like that. But then as far as day of or art gallery night, it was the models and them tapping into their support network that came out and bought up all that stuff. Did I answer the question? Ooh, I'm really acting like you today, but this is exciting to your point. Like, I ain't thought about this stuff in so long.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you just go down memory lane. Yeah. Listen, if I ain't answered the question, it was a good story. It was a real good story.
It was worth it.
But you hit on the support and how you got to the first magazine. I didn't know that was the first magazine.
Yeah. And it was called Natty Girls. That series was called Natty Girl.
Can people still find that anywhere? Or is that done?
It's done. And that's my thing too. My stuff is done. Hold on, I gotta name them out because I don't remember. the number off the top of my head. Natty Girl, Him series, Dab the Ink the sequel, Dab the Ink the trilogy, and Flowers. So I've done 6 publications. Oh, there you go. I've done 6 publications. You got to cut some.
I ain't cutting nothing.
I ain't cutting nothing.
Listen.
Make me over here look like I'm crazy.
Listen, because both of us looking.
So it was 6 publications. It's a one and done. Each publication, when I do the party and everything, we didn't do. So it was 5 parties because one of them was during COVID and we couldn't do an event.
Right.
But each of the events that I've done, I also created merch, had exclusive designs. You could only get that merch at that event. That's motivating people to come. And my merch was on point. It was dope too. You know what I'm saying? Great quality and all that stuff. And it literally was this logo. People was buying this logo. I'm telling you. And that's another thing too. Things came out of it that I didn't even realize. If I would have named it Shamar Allen Photography, I don't know if everybody would have bought a shirt with Shamar.
I don't want no man name.
Man name across my chest.
because like I don't care for like, okay, my wife bought me a shirt. Ice Cube face is big. Listen, Ice Cube cool, but I'm not walking around with a man on my chest. No offense to people that do, but me personally,
you ain't doing
no.
It. Right.
No.
So yeah, they would buy the stuff. So to answer your question is that no, you're not able to find it online now to purchase or anything because I created that space of exclusivity. Exclusivity. Let's sound it out. Exclusivity.
Exclusiveness.
Right.
Exclusiveness.
Y'all can't get it.
Listen, don't be down in the comments trying to tell us how to say. It's still gonna be a word that we can't seem to pronounce right now, no matter how you spell it. Anyway.
Yeah, not today, y'all.
Not
but
today.
y'all know what I'm saying. So creating that, making it exclusive, making it feel like it's a one of a kind and stuff like that, then that makes people in that moment want to come. And once people started realizing, oh, that merch is only available at this event, they will come to the event to buy that merch, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I don't have it available today.
Okay. Well,
I'm sorry. If we do another event, because I do have a few for myself, and I have some of the older publications at that event, you know, to sell, but only at an event.
So that means I'm not gonna see anything except for Flowers, because I know we got Flowers magazine.
You can see all of them. They're upstairs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, now I know.
Everything's upstairs. Yeah. I got one of everything.
Because that was the other part that I was trying to get to with that question too. Like, is there a way to see it? But you just answered that. There's a way for me to see it.
See, listen, y'all. I'm
There's
always
me.
thinking about you say him.
Me to see it.
But to that point, I thought about, well, shoot, we almost here because I said at the 10-year anniversary, I was going to do a big event to where we go through all those projects. And we're almost there.
That means I got a video to edit. Storytelling.
Yeah, so therefore we'll do that, you know, and people will be able to come back. And then I'll even reprint some of that stuff so that, you know, they'll get it. Ooh. But here's the thing. Your first work is trash. Now listen, it's true to my heart. I love it because it was my first. I look at that stuff now and be like, what was you doing? Oof.
Yeah. I look at some, well, I don't even know what my first pictures are, but you know, the first videos I did, what was you thinking?
All right, don't show nobody that.
Why you didn't turn up the ISO?
Right.
Bruh. And your shutter speed is off. I can tell. So I get it. I think that I know that event would be a dope event. Because it'll show progression over time.
Absolutely.
It gives the people that were in these magazines to, I guess they call pop out again. Bring more people to say, hey, you know, my picture from that mag. Why about doing a collection and putting all of it in one book that makes sense?
Ooh, that'd be a big old book.
It doesn't matter.
Hey,
because we're going to monetize off of it. Notice I said
absolutely.
we. Yes, I speak French. We. Going to monetize off of it. Listen, I came up with that idea. I think I deserve 10%, you know.
But that would be dope. And especially because I would personally invite each one of them. we had one from the him series. He did pass away, so he won't be able to make it. But I'll invite all the other ones. I don't know where everybody else is, but I did find that news out about him. But yeah, invite them back. And that way, and shoot, some of them probably ain't seen some of them photos in forever either. It would be great for them to see it. You know what I'm saying?
And with that,
and then we do video with them beside it. But go ahead.
And with that gap, look at you giving me extra work. I already volunteered to do the edit, but to have the age gap. That's what I'm saying. The age gap from that is like 5 years, 10 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. From the earliest to the latest. Mm-hmm. And then just to see their growth and see if some of these women are still natural.
Yeah. You know what? Oh my God. Are we even doing the episode anymore? Yeah, I'm liking this. I'm liking this brainstorming because I was like, listen, we in this space, we wouldn't be able to have everybody from every single series at once. So it could be like a week long or a month long thing of 10-year anniversary because the first one would be Natty Girls. And to that, hey, which ones are still natural? You know what I'm saying? And then, because I had my cousin in it and she had 3 daughters. Them daughters ain't what they were then. That was 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So just be able to see them. They're women now. You know, one of them is a woman and the other one are teenagers. But anyway, to see that. And then the next one, the him series, let the fellas come in. Are y'all still like y'all were? The tattoos. Hey, have y'all gotten more tattoos? What does that look like now that you go into piercings? That would be dope. Now, we're not going to have the flowers come in here because, the flowers changed. You know, but the fellas can come in, you know.
Yeah, they can come in.
Yeah.
We got enough plants. I don't need to be in here with the wrong plant. Catch you. What is that? So, but yeah, I can dig it. That's extra work for me, but yeah, I'm with it.
That's work for all of us.
I'm with it.
What comes with it is dope.
Yes. So we got these 6 magazines. Mm-hmm. We got Alan Lux Photography.
No, we don't.
Hold on. Oh. I'm building.
Oh.
We got Alan Lux Photography. Uh-huh. Scratch that.
Yeah.
We got studios.
Yes, sir.
And you've had a studio for it. When did you get the first studio?
That was in June of 2026. May of 2026.
2026 and we in 2025.
Oh,
wow. Bruh. Let me find out.
How that work?
Right, because I need to know.
2016. May of 2016. May. Do you remember when I said I moved back to Charlotte?
Yeah.
When is that? Tell the people. October 2015. Fast forward to May of 2016 is when I got my first studio.
I'm throwing a rough number out. You said October.
October of 2015
to May. Without counting, I'm calling that 9 months.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Correct me on that math. I'm not getting ready to calculate that. If you know me, you know me. But no, y'all.
Hold on. That's quick. No, that's 7. Because October is month 10. December is month 12. So that's 2 months. January to May, that's 5 months. So 7 months.
November, December, January, March, April, May. I was close.
Did you really just use your fingers and I gave you the answer? I gave you the answer.
Half the people don't know how you just calculated that.
Just like that new math that they do. I have no idea what they be doing.
We're not even touching that. I asked myself, I said, what are they teaching y'all? We counting bricks? Because that's literally what they look like. We counting boxes, blocks, but I'm going to digress from that too. So, first studio, 7 months later, we're producing. Mm-hmm. In the midst of all of this, we have, again, 6 magazines.
Yes.
Only available for purchase at the event. Mm-hmm. At what point do we get away from, not for a figure of speech, do we get away from portrait, because I know you still do it, or themed magazines to events?
So we didn't get away from it. Yeah, you're right. We didn't get away, but it wasn't that even much longer after before I started doing events. So what happened was, before I started shooting events, let me be clear with what I'm saying. So the launch.
He means taking pictures.
Yeah, I wasn't shooting them up. I'm not shooting nothing up. Yes, I'm photographing events, people.
Yeah, I don't want nobody get that messed up.
All right, so I did my first event, launching the business, July 30th of 2016. Now, I was already doing sorry. I was already doing hired work or commissioned work. So people would book me for portraits and stuff. And then one of my clients was launching fitness apparel. And with that fitness apparel, she had models and stuff. So one of her models I met, and that model was hosting an event for the church. It was a fundraising event for the church that they were hosting. And I said, hey, do y'all have a photographer for your event? And she said, no, we don't have a photographer. However, we don't have a budget either. And I'm like, listen, I just started my business 2 months ago. I would love to be the photographer as long as you all put my logo on your branded material, banner, tabletops, or whatever. She was like, absolutely, sure. Now, the place that the event was, it was in Center City, Charlotte, at the Du Bois Center, UNC Charlotte's Du Bois Center. I met the director, one of the directors there, because that's where they hosted the event. And so he was a part of the fundraiser as well. He saw the work that I did, and I turned that work around the very next day. So the quality of the work, the event photography, and the quick turnaround, he therefore asked me a month later to shoot his events for UNC Charlotte. And I became a preferred vendor there and started working with him. Shoot, what was that? I guess 4 months after I launched my business, and been one of their preferred vendors for almost a decade.
That speaks volume, because some people can't go past a month. And the quick turnaround time,
Yes,
that is one of the biggest quote unquote selling points.
absolutely.
Because we turn work around quick.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't like stuff
Always
on my
been that way.
desk.
Yeah, always been that way.
No. And you have said a lot that I don't think people, you're going to have to go back and watch this more so than my episode, because you talked about marketing. You talked about how to promote. You talked about how to get into certain spaces and certain doors, how to utilize your friends and your network. You have to use who you got.
Yeah.
You can't create a short film with people that don't fit, with characters that don't fit the people that you're asking to be the actors. And not trying to be funny, but you don't want to get somebody that's in a wheelchair, because they're not going to fully understand what it means to be in a wheelchair. If you never sat in a wheelchair, rolled those wheels, or been on crutches, it's a little difficult to play that role.
Yeah.
Now you stuck with a Tubi movie. No shots being fired, but I'm just saying.
It was, though.
I mean, I saw a Tubi clip, and the guy was literally on his tippy toes as the guy was dragging him off camera.
But to that point, though, you're absolutely right that you have to have an understanding of what that person deals with on a day-to-day.
Yeah.
You use the example of the wheelchair, but that immediately made me think of Jamie Foxx, where he glued his eyes shut to play Ray Charles. He literally on set for 18 hours has his eyes glued shut, because he's never been blind. He's never had to roam the world in darkness. So he had to commit to doing that to be able to pull that off. I remember I took a acting class in college, and it was a scene that I was acting out, and it was on a subway. And I hit my lines, but my teacher was not pleased. Professor was not pleased. And I'm like, what are you not pleased for? Shamar, what does a subway do? What does a sub do when it's, I said it takes you from one place to, yes, when you're in motion, what is happening? And I said, I don't know, you in motion. That swaying. I think you just did it. Yes, the swaying. I never thought about that. I'm like, oh, so I'm supposed to be doing that while I'm, yeah. Things that you're not aware of. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to know that stuff. Oh God, that rain is coming down. Like I said, you answered a lot. I'm processing through it, trying to figure out how to sum it up. But I think the best thing is they just got to go back and rewatch.
Yeah.
So in conclusion, because we're here, I think you pretty much brought us to current day.
We're here.
We're here.
I don't know how we got here because I've been talking, but yeah, we here.
We here. I was paying attention.
Okay.
You know, I listen because I'm a storyteller. I'm listening to the story being told to me.
Yes.
So with that, for other creatives, other people that want to get into this creative space, as we call it, what seed or seeds would you drop for them?
Yeah, so I'm going to take a note from your book again. I'm going to give you backstory before I get to that answer. You know, I want to tie back into the whole thing of being an alchemist. You know, you're the storyteller. I'm the alchemist. You know, I've always been able to build teams, you know, get teams to reach their individual goals and their common goals together successfully. So that has always been in the back of my mind, even though for the first 6 years of business, I was a solo act. I did it all, but I always knew that it was going to be a team of people. And now that we've gotten there, we've been building this team for the past 3 years now. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Ups and downs throughout this whole thing. You telling me something?
No,
Oh, I thought you was.
no, my shoulder was itching.
It's like, who is on my shoulder?
Bug.
Spider, run.
Right.
But building the teams. I always knew, you know, that I would be it would be a team of us here at Alan Lux Studios. And the past 3 years has been some ups and downs in that. But I know and I can recognize, you know, skill sets that are right for what it is that we're doing. Now, taking that information and applying it to your question, you know, for this creative space. I think that skill sets that you need to be successful, because anybody can create. Anybody can create. Now, some of us gonna be trash, some of us gonna be good. Anybody can create. Let's just make that benchmark. But to be successful, you have to want it more than anybody else does for you. I can never want it for you as much as you want it. You know what I'm saying? Because I can see the talent in you, but if you don't want it yourself, it ain't nothing I can do. So you got to want it. And when I say want it, it's not just the one of, oh, that would be great for that end result. You know, you got to want to be able to go through the process. You got to be able to want to work on yourself, develop things, and see yourself through. And it's not an end. I was getting ready to say see yourself through the end, but it's not an end. The journey never ends. You know what I'm saying? You're consistently or continuously going.
Not until you in that box.
Right.
Or earn, depending on where you go. Just... It's me. Go ahead.
Wow. So you got to want it for yourself more than anybody else wants it for you. And then you got to apply pressure. That's it. What'd you say? Pressure creates
Pressure
what?
make diamonds.
But you got to apply it. You will never get anywhere sitting there watching others do it. You have to do it yourself. And by doing is what's going to help hone your skills and get you better. We've both admitted on both of our episodes that stuff in the beginning was trash, but that trash is what helped produce what we're doing today. You know?
Yeah.
I just want you to do it. I just want you to start and move forward and get out of your own way. We think that there's this thing called analysis paralysis. You know, people will overanalyze stuff till they get stuck. And
You're talking about me, but go ahead.
No, people in general. I've seen a lot of people do it.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, but you definitely do it. He said it, but
Listen, I know my faults.
But get out of your own way. You know, we don't want to shoot that, or we don't want to create that, because what people gonna say? They gonna talk about me. So and so, you know, what is that? The imposter syndrome. So and so over there doing this and doing that. Blah, blah. Well, you ain't doing nothing but worrying about them. Worry about yourself.
Right. Worry about yourself.
Worry about yourself.
That part.
And do it.
Yeah. Unpack all of this, okay? Listen, we got people coming on these episodes, and knowing the majority of these people personally is about to be a very impactful podcast. Every episode, the people that I know, the people that Shamar knows, the people that are coming on here, we get to the point where we do these solo podcast episodes. The biggest thing I want people to understand is this is a very supportive community. Being a creative, you have to give support and be willing to take support. Because if we've been doing certain things longer than you, we want to help you get to where you're trying to get to. We are not here to hinder you from doing what you want to do. You know, if you have this mindset, like Shamar said, if you have to apply pressure. You can't just be like, I want to do it and then worry about what everybody else is doing. Again, I spent a year holding on to my T3i. I can't tell you if I took any more than 500 pictures within that year.
Oh God.
Yes, that bad. But when let me put this out there too. I did more video with that T3i.
Okay.
But I didn't really start doing anything as far as pictures until I got a video specific camera. Now, Shamar had a break in when he was doing photos, and he escalated from the dark room with a red light going to 6 magazines and running businesses. Okay. And again, a multi-million-dollar mindset. And I know that's why we work and flow well together, because a lot of the goals that we have, they intertwine, they line up. And it doesn't make sense for me to try to build something when I can come in and help build something that's already there. Right.
Yeah.
So make sure y'all tap in, not just to the podcast, but tap into other people in that creative space. You can be in this space and be an introvert, but it's only going to take you so far without talking to people. Listen, we might have to create some kind of community for people to just come in.
This is the community, and it's going to evolve. So this Creative Roots right here is the community that we're creating. It's going to evolve. It's going to turn into so many things. I already see it happening. And I'm going to tell you all, this other thing is that ain't no gatekeeping. Ain't no gatekeeping over here. You know, and those that are doing it, stop right now. That's going to help. That will hinder you more than anything else, in my opinion.
Because then you'll be left alone. People
holding on to that one little thing that you got. And somebody younger can teach you something. Somebody older can teach you something. I am learning from, because I'm teaching photography classes now, and I have a residency program. And the first thing that trips me out is because when I am teaching the class, I'm like, God, I know a lot of stuff. You start to realize a lot of stuff that you know. Right. But then they start asking you questions and then saying things and helping you see things from a different way too. So I'm learning from these classes just like the students are. But I'm sorry.
No, you good. Because I'm relearning photography from this, and it helps me. And like I said, I don't like saying it, but I guess I'm gonna have to start back taking pictures. I just feel the need to do that now, because I'm not just looking from stills in motion anymore. I'm literally just looking at stills now, because that's what photography is, stills with lighting, if I'm correct. But listen,
it's called a motion picture. So we're a picture, still, your video, motion picture. That's literally why it's called motion picture, people. But we got to go, because we will be here all day.
Listen.
And this man done said he hungry.
Right. Listen, thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Creative Roots Podcast. If you would like to be on the show, send a DM, Instagram, TikTok, creativeroots.podcast, Facebook, Creative Roots Podcast. And I think that's it. So for this episode.
Oh, excuse me. You can ask me this time where they can find me.
Oh, I forgot. So, where can people find you? Because I forgot that. You're right.
No problem.
So, where can people find you if they want to, whatever?
Listen, y'all can find me on all platforms at Alan Lux Studios. That's ALANLUXSTUDIOS. Yeah, man. Hey, that was fun. I thought I was going to try to hurry up and get through that interview, but that was fun. You took me down memory lane, and I just love what is going on, and I'm excited to see other people experience the same thing. So good job, Tay.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Creative Roots in the building.
Yes, sir.
I think I'm gonna have to put out a video for the theme song. If y'all want to put together a music video for the theme song, let me know. Probably still won't do it. I don't know. That's too much work now. I just thought about that. But anyway, this is Creative Roots Podcast, and we are out. Peace. Hey, real quick, just wanted to say thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Creative Roots Podcast. If you are a creative and you're interested in being a guest on this podcast, feel free to send a DM on Instagram or TikTok, and you can find us at creativeroots.podcast on both, Creative Roots Podcast on Facebook, and we look forward to talking to you soon.